Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders walked off the field on Sunday with a decisive 41-24 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. But the final score quickly became secondary to the sight of their star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, clutching at his quad and limping off in the third quarter. For a fan base that has leaned on McLaurin's reliability for the better part of 5 seasons, that moment felt like a gut punch. One of those cruel reminders that football, as thrilling as it is, can change in the blink of an eye. By Tuesday, the initial shock had turned into concern and speculation, with ESPN reporting that McLaurin is seeking additional medical opinions. The mere fact that a player as tough and durable as McLaurin is even entertaining second evaluations sends shivers through Washington's locker room and fan base. After all, this is a guy who has lined up every week since 2020, building a streak of 72 straight starts. When you have that kind of Iron Man reputation and suddenly you're a question mark, everyone knows it's serious. The play itself was both electrifying and heartbreaking, a microcosm of McLaurin's career. Full throttle, fearless, and willing to risk everything for just one more yard. He had already beaten his man down the sideline, hauled in the 56-yard bomb, and with the end zone within reach, he dove, stretching his body in that desperate lunge that fans adore but trainers dread. At first, it looked like he'd capped the highlight with a touchdown, but replay review took it off the board. That was tough enough to swallow, but the sight of him staying down, then limping, was even worse. For a split second, you could feel all of Washington holding its breath, because when Terry McLaurin goes down, the entire identity of this Commander's offense trembles. McLaurin's stat line this season might not jump off the page, just 10 catches for 149 yards so far, but numbers never tell the full story with him. He's the heartbeat of this team, the one player you can count on in big moments, the one player defenses circle on their whiteboards every week. His presence stretches the field, his leadership keeps younger teammates locked in, and his consistency allows the Commanders' offense to function with rhythm. Without him, Jayden Daniels, the rookie quarterback who's already dealing with a tender knee, loses his most trusted safety valve. Noah Brown is still sidelined with a groin injury, which means that without McLaurin, Washington's receiver room could suddenly look dangerously thin heading into Atlanta. Coach Dan Quinn didn't offer much in the way of clarity when asked about McLaurin after the game, nor during his early week media availability. Quinn, known for keeping things close to the chest, simply acknowledged that they were gathering information and would have updates as the week progresses. That's coach speak, but fans can read between the lines. If this were a minor tweak, McLaurin would be preparing to tough it out. The fact that there are additional opinions involved hints that this is not just a routine bruise or cramp. Washington's upcoming injury report on Wednesday will now feel like must-watch television. The timing of this could not be worse. The Commanders are sitting at 2-1, trying to build momentum in the early stages of the season. With Atlanta up next, Washington has an opportunity to cement itself as more than just an early season surprise. But without McLaurin, the margin for error shrinks dramatically. Atlanta's defense isn't elite, but they play with grit and have a secondary capable of taking advantage of a weakened receiving core. Every yard is harder to earn when your opponent knows they don't have to respect your top deep threat. If McLaurin is sidelined, the Commanders' playbook changes overnight. And let's not forget the broader picture here. Terry McLaurin is not just another wide receiver. He's the face of this franchise. The guy who stayed loyal during years when loyalty wasn't easy. The guy who signed his extension just before the season after a drawn-out standoff with management. His new deal, finalized on August 25th, was supposed to lock him in as the centerpiece of Washington's offense for years to come. For him to now be facing the possibility of missing games before September is even out. That's the kind of twist that tests both a locker room and a fan base's resolve. You can sense it in the whispers online and in sports bars across D.C. There's fear that this isn't just a week-to-week bruise, but something that could linger. What makes the situation even more dramatic is McLaurin's history of durability. Since his rookie year in 2019, he's been one of the most reliable players at his position. 470 catches, over 6,500 yards, and 38 touchdowns in just over 4 seasons. And through all that production, The constant thread has been his availability. Coaches preach that the best ability is availability, and no one has embodied that mantra more than McLaurin. So if his streak of 72 consecutive games played is about to snap, it won't just be a footnote in the box score. It'll feel like the end of an era of dependability. Washington's locker room will undoubtedly rally, because that's what teams do. But the ripple effect of losing McLaurin is immense. The young quarterback, Daniels, already nursing that knee, might find himself forcing throws into tighter windows. Running backs might face more stacked boxes, because defenses won't fear getting burned deep. And Quinn's play calling, already under the microscope in his first year at the helm, will be scrutinized even further if the offense sputters without its star receiver. It's the type of challenge that can either galvanize a team or expose its flaws. The truth is, McLaurin is more than just a player. He's a symbol. Fans look at him and see resilience, professionalism, and commitment. He's the guy who plays through pain, who shows up week after week, who embodies everything you want your franchise cornerstone to be. That's why this injury hits so hard. It's not just about the yards and touchdowns. It's about the idea that, for once, the rock the Commanders have leaned on might not be there when they need him most. As the days crawl toward Sunday, all eyes will remain glued to the Commanders' injury updates. The questions swirl: will McLaurin suit up? Will the streak continue? Or will Washington be forced to march into Atlanta without its most important offensive weapon? In football, weeks are short, but the drama is endless. And this storyline is already shaping up to be one of the defining sagas of Week 4. The Commanders have a chance to prove their depth, to show they're more than just McLaurin dependent. But if he's absent, it will test every ounce of creativity from Dan Quinn and every bit of grit from his players. For now, Washington fans can only hold their breath and hope. Hope that the dive toward the end zone was just another fearless play in McLaurin's highlight reel, not the beginning of a setback. Hope that the man who has been their constant can continue to defy the odds. Because in a season just beginning to take shape, the Commanders cannot afford to lose their captain, their heartbeat, their Terry McLaurin. And until the official word comes down, that uncertainty will hang over the team like a shadow, making every update feel like the most important headline of the week. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Whispers have been circulating around FedEx Field, and if the rumors are even halfway true, Washington football team, or whatever name they're going by these days, might be teetering on the edge of complete chaos. Sources close to the team have described a sideline scene so heated, so tense, that it could make even the most battle-hardened NFL veterans squirm in disbelief. It all allegedly started during last Sunday's practice session, where head coach Dan Quinn and star wide receiver Terry McLaurin were reportedly seen in what insiders are calling a full-on shouting match. According to those who claim to have witnessed it, it wasn't the standard heated debate over play calling or missed assignments. No, this was something else entirely: raw emotion, sharp words flying like missiles, and a clash that, some say, has thrown the entire locker room into a state of unease. Eyewitnesses describe Quinn, usually known for his measured, disciplined demeanor, losing his temper in a way that left everyone stunned. His voice reportedly carried across the field, booming with frustration, demanding accountability, questioning McLaurin's effort, his focus, and even his commitment to the team. And McLaurin, never one to shy away from confrontation, didn't back down. Sources claim he shot back, not with the usual quiet professionalism, but with a venomous, high-pitched intensity that suggested this wasn't just about a single mistake or a blown route. It was personal. The shouting reportedly escalated, attracting the attention of assistant coaches and staff who tried, unsuccessfully, to intervene. One source, speaking on condition of anonymity, said it was like watching two heavyweight fighters go toe-to-toe verbally, each unwilling to give an inch. The tension, they said, was almost tangible, a kind of electric anxiety that settled over the sideline like a storm cloud. Players, coaches, and staff allegedly stood frozen, unsure whether to step in, flee, or just absorb the shockwave. The incident, according to the whispers, didn't just end with loud voices and red faces. Multiple insiders hint that physical gestures, aggressive pointing, and heated finger-waving accompanied the verbal battle, though thankfully no punches were thrown, at least, not that anyone saw. But the intensity was enough to make people question the internal dynamics of Washington's locker room. Is this a one-off clash born of stress and frustration, or is it the latest symptom of a deeper, ongoing problem within the franchise? Rumors suggest the latter. Those familiar with the organization claim that tension between Quinn and his players has been simmering for weeks, if not months. Frustrations over offensive schemes, play calling, and player utilization are said to have created a powder keg atmosphere. And McLaurin, who has long been viewed as a vocal leader on and off the field, apparently hit a breaking point. The shouting match, according to insiders, wasn't the first time he and Quinn have had sharp words in public, but it may be the most explosive. Sources even hint that teammates were divided in their loyalties, some siding quietly with McLaurin, sympathizing with his frustrations, while others reportedly feel the coach is right to demand discipline and accountability. Such a divide, if true, could spell trouble for team chemistry, especially at a time when Washington is already grappling with inconsistent performances and a fanbase growing increasingly impatient. Social media, of course, has been abuzz with speculation, though no official statements have been released. Analysts and insiders are claiming that the incident may force the front office to take drastic measures, possibly intervening before things spiral even further. Some rumors suggest that Quinn has been summoned for a private meeting with upper management, where the focus would be on conflict resolution and restoring order to a locker room teetering on instability. But if the whispers are to be believed, Quinn may be digging in his heels, unwilling to publicly admit fault or soften his approach, while McLaurin's camp reportedly sees this as a defining moment, a chance to assert his leadership and demand respect from a coach whose methods, according to them, have at times been overly rigid or even dismissive. The narrative, if it continues to unfold as insiders hint, could have significant ripple effects. Sources claim there's fear that if this tension isn't addressed, it might affect performance on the field, with morale dipping and players losing trust in the coaching staff. Observers suggest that the team's next game could serve as a barometer for whether Washington is able to channel this conflict into motivation or if it unravels entirely. Meanwhile, the media frenzy shows no signs of slowing. Pundits have been dissecting every sideline angle, analyzing body language, and poring over past incidents to build a picture of a franchise on the brink of internal collapse. The sheer volume of speculation, some insiders say, has only compounded the stress, creating a feedback loop where the rumor itself becomes part of the tension. And here's where it gets even stickier. A handful of sources suggest that this confrontation may not be isolated to just Quinn and McLaurin. Other players, perhaps emboldened by the showdown, may feel that it's time to speak out, whether publicly or behind closed doors. Allegedly, conversations about player dissatisfaction, frustration with coaching decisions, and even locker room hierarchies are being quietly circulated. The concern, insiders warn, is that once one high-profile confrontation goes public or leaks through whispers, the floodgates open. Coaches, general managers, and team executives are reportedly on edge, weighing options from internal mediation to more drastic reshuffling of personnel. But for now, the drama remains centered on Quinn and McLaurin, two figures whose clash has captured the imagination of fans and insiders alike. There's a sense of unpredictability that hangs over Washington, a feeling that this incident could be either a catalyst for change or a harbinger of a deeper, more persistent dysfunction. Observers close to the team hint that if Quinn and McLaurin cannot find common ground, the ramifications could extend beyond just a single season, influencing draft decisions, trade considerations, and the broader perception of the franchise. In the midst of all this, one thing seems certain. The sideline shouting match, whether momentary or symbolic of something greater, has put Washington under a microscope like never before. Fans, analysts, and rival teams are all watching, speculating, and, in some cases, reveling in the chaos. The drama is real, the tension palpable, and the outcome remains uncertain. If the rumors hold any truth, Washington may be facing not just a coaching challenge, but a defining moment in franchise history, where the decisions made in the wake of a heated clash could alter the trajectory of players, coaches, and the team's culture for years to come. It's a story of ego, passion, and conflict, played out on one of the NFL's most scrutinized stages. Whether this is the start of a narrative about resilience, leadership, and reconciliation, or the beginning of a season-long saga of discord and dissent, only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The sideline may never look the same again, and the rumblings of Quinn versus McLaurin have already left an indelible mark on Washington's football world. In the coming weeks, fans, pundits, and insiders alike will be watching every practice, every press conference, and every snap on game day, searching for signs of resolution or further eruption. The story, it seems, is just beginning, and the echoes of that unforgettable shouting match on the sidelines may reverberate far longer than anyone anticipated. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.